Right. How are we doing? Happy Mother's Day. Okay, so you all overwhelmingly voted that you wanted me to do the back bend. What the hell is my phone doing? Sorry. You all wanted me to do the back bend one, so that's what we're going to do. So if you come to my stretch classes, normally you'll know that back bend, for me, I like to break down into lots of different poses rather than specifically just doing anything and everything. Any type of back bend training will help with all the different specific poses. But yeah, I like to have one goal in mind, especially when I'm on limited time. So I'm going to do a bridge for this one because I think a bridge is one of the most useful ones as like a measurement tool. Before I get going, I want to just talk to you for a sec about different types of muscle release apart from stretching. So when I gave you the hit list of everything I wanted you to have to go with the workouts, I didn't actually talk about foam rollers at all, or balls or peanuts or anything like that. So I just want to introduce them for a sec. I'm going to use a foam roller today as part of my back bend, because without a partner it's one of the most effective ways to actually encourage the whole back to bend instead of just hinging from the low back. If you don't have a roller, don't panic, you don't have to do that section. You could use your blocks or a book with a cushion on top, that'll work similar, okay? So really quickly, different types of rollers and things. I've just got a couple here. So I have a giant foam roller. This one's smooth. If you remember at the studio, we have the bubbly ones. You can get them different sort of softness, blah, blah, blah. You can also get different size this way. You can also get yoga wheels that work differently, that are much larger, which are really helpful for back bends too. So using a foam roller is really good for giving yourself basically like a mini massage. When we want a muscle to stretch, sometimes it's because because it's so tight and overworking so hard, the stretch might not be very effective, okay? Where in the first place, if we were to loosen that area off with physical manipulation, it might then respond better to a stretch afterwards. So same as if I were to give you a sports massage and then get you to do a hamstring stretch, it's going to be a lot better and more beneficial than if I just did the stretch on its own. Okay, so ways of self-massaging, this is one. You can also get these tools. This one's a bit rude. So you can have just a ball. This one's really hard. If you were building up to it, you could use like a tennis ball, so it's a bit squashier. Using a golf ball and things as well also works depending what area you're working into. Spiky dryer ball I really like because of the fact it's got the spikes, and if I have specific like knots, it seems to sit on them. And then a peanut, which is the one that I said looks a bit rude. So peanuts are very similar to one of these. Just so like I find a peanut to use on my low back and on my hamstring insertions and stuff. For some reason I find it's more beneficial. I like a peanut for the back as well because of the fact this gap is where I can sort of put my spine, so I'm never putting direct pressure on the spinal column, I'm just keeping it on the AS using this bit. Yeah, so if you haven't invested in any type of muscle release tools, I'd really recommend going on Amazon and getting yourself a foam roller if you can. That isn't now £1 million because everyone is running to buy online fitness gear, probably because of all these videos. So yeah, so I'm going to use this, but if you don't have a roller, don't panic, it doesn't matter. So back stretching, we're going to do a general warm-up, so you pop your music on nice and loud because mine is super quiet again. Make sure you have a drink. I think that's it. I'm going to use my blocks. I'm going to use a resistance band or a dressing gown tie or a yoga strap. And I'm going to use a looped resistance band. So if you don't have one of those, but you have a regular resistance band, grab that. Yeah, I'm also going to take my socks off because they are super fluffy. Probably not that beneficial. Okay. Can you see my dog here sunbathing, or is he just off the camera? I think he's just off the camera. Okay, so... Oh, it doesn't actually say how long I've been going. That's not helpful. I forgot to put my timer on to make sure that I don't run out of time. Okay. I'm not sure how well this is going to go because I'm super tight from yesterday's abs. I thought I had bellyache, but I think it is just a shock. Okay, big breath in. And again. Then we're going to link the hands. I'm going to reach up with your fingertips. I'm just going to push the hips out to the side. And to the middle, out. One more time. And then I'm going to split my hands apart and I'm just going to circle down, around nice and gentle. And the other way. Now if you're already attending classes, you are fine warming up like this. If you don't normally come to me, make sure you're not taking your arms. My dog's just choking in front of me. Make sure you don't take your arms up and over your head unless you have nice regulated blood pressure. Okay. Shoulders circling back now. Big circles. So we're trying to bring them as high as we can. Exaggerate up towards the ears. And the other way. Good, and then we're going to take the arms straight and draw little circles. And the other way. Bigger circles. Why do nobody want middle splits then? Hey, quite like a middle split. Pancake, that means that class online is going to be dead. I think there was like 20% of you voted for it on Instagram. And then we're going to go in and out. And we're going to go in, twist, out. Oh no, it's that thing that she likes to throw at you. I really like doing this one. So we're going to go twist, up, out, in, twist, up, out. If you are totally lost, just wave your arms about. As long as your shoulders are warming up, it doesn't matter. If you're feeling fancy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Circle the wrists. Just bounce those hips side to side. And circle the other way. Good. And then we're going to go chest side to side. And we're going to go chest backwards and forwards. So, as my chest and belly button suck in, I want your head to drop. I'm also tilting the pelvis backwards and forwards. And then we're going to go chest circle, so hips as still as possible. Other way. And switch. And the other way. Keep chest circling for 1 second. I'm so aware that I coughed into my hand and then I was like, the whole internet is watching me if I do not wash my hands right now. How terrible. So, anti-backed. And then we're going to go hips. And I got rid of the dog at the same time. He's not a very good assistant. And the other way. And make them a little bit smaller. Think about trying to keep the ribs as still as we can. and then I'm gonna do this. So feet in a little bit. What I don't want is just to lift my heel like this. And what I do want is to squeeze my hip towards my rib cage. Can you see the, oh, there he is. Squeeze. So I'm squeezing this bit here. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. You don't like when I do this in class. And then we're going to do a little tilt, so it looks a bit ridiculous. So tilt the pelvis under, backwards, under, backwards. I'm going to go forwards again, because it feels a bit weird doing that on the internet on my own. Forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards. And then we're going to circle, keeping the knees soft. Again, this feels a bit weird on the internet on my own, but hey ho. Circle the shoulders, and the other way. Woo! I feel like one of those, you know, like blow up guys that's outside a garage where they're like, that's what it feels a bit like. Good, and then we're just going to soften the knees and push them out side to side. Just generally loosening everything up. We're going to go over to one side, push the knee out, hips are pushing back, swap, switch, 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 and go into a lunge, hips down, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, straighten out the front leg, try and soften that back knee, and we're going to push forwards, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, back, soften, and then we're going to come forwards, hands onto that front knee, shoulders are lifted, and we sink, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, lock it, hands out, up, out, up, out, up, out, up, drop it down. We're going to squeeze the bum, imagine you've been punched in the stomach, keep driving those hips forwards, reaching up with the rib cage. We're going to sink it down. You're going to take the same hand as that back leg, thumb underneath your bum cheek, grab the thigh, twist it forwards and down. Good. And then we're just going to twist through the middle, over to the opposite side, turn, hips down, 2, and back, soften, 2, 3, push forwards, hips down, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, push back, soften, 1, 2, 3, 4, push forwards, hands on that front knee, shoulders lifted, ribs lifted, tuck the pelvis a little bit, and we're going to bend, straighten, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, lock it, hands out and up, out, up, out, up, out, up, and sink the knee down, tuck that pelvis, imagine you've been punched in the stomach, squeezing your bum, driving the hip forwards, and we're going to push forwards. We're going to take the same hand, back leg, thumb underneath the bum, grab the thigh, twist it forwards and down. Good, straighten out that front leg. And then we're going to take it to all fours, circles.
So it makes me super dizzy, but in this one, because we want the whole spine to be getting involved, you've got to try and think about moving the head. So as the belly goes down, the chin should be lifted, and then as it rounds, the head should go down. Makes you super dizzy, super fast. And then we're going to change direction. And then we're going to go arch. Oh, my tummy is tight. So you're thinking pelvis tilted, bum stuck up, chin lifted, shoulders back and down, neck nice and long. And then you're going to round, squeeze your bum, push your hands into the floor, round that upper back, chin to chest. Arch, round, arch, round, arch, round. Round, arch, round. Then we're going to tuck the toes, take it to a down dog. So I want to make sure I'm not collapsing here through the shoulders. So I'm actively pushing like this. So I'm sort of tucking the arms under and in. So if you have dodgy elbows like me, keep them a little bit soft. Think about tilting the pelvis up to the ceiling, belly button tucking in towards your spine. And then we're just going to pedal 1 foot at a time down. And then I'm going to push both down. And I'm going to look at my fingers. I'm going to look up towards my belly button. Fingers, belly button. Fingers, belly button. One more. And then back to neutral, and I'm going to push forwards into a plank, pushing fingertips into the floor, shoulders pushed away, belly button is sucked in, and I'm just going to drop my knees down. From here, I'm going to bring my hands to my low back, I'm going to squeeze my hips, and I'm going to push them forwards, making sure my bum is engaged. I'm going to give my head a little shake, and just drop it back slightly, thinking about opening the chest. Sit the bum down, reach my hands forwards, bring my hands back in, push the hips forwards. In, down, in, and then we're just going to push cobra. So shoulders are back, chest is forwards, chin is lifted, feet around the width of the mat, unless you're really flexible, in which case put them together or cross the ankles over. If you're not very flexible, take them even wider than the mat. So just think here about shoulders rolling back and down away from the ears. My neck is really nice and long and relaxed. Yeah, I shouldn't feel like I'm tense. Chest is pushing forwards as much as possible. Shoulder blades are squeezed together. Elbows are soft, sorry, not locked out, especially if you have dodgy arms like me. Ribs are pushing forwards. I like to squeeze my bum, push the tops of the feet into the floor, and then relax everything there. Bum and legs, I mean. There's sort of advice for both squeezing and relaxing, and I'm never sure which one you're meant to do, so I like to do both. And then we're going to push the hips back, armpits down. Push forwards again. So shoulder blades are pinched, chest forwards, chin lifted. Give your head a little wobble just to check it's all right. If you can, you're pushing through the fingertips, lifting the palms, and then we're just going to lift the hips up again. So I want to think about tilting the pelvis, pushing my bum up as high as I can, looking straight out ahead of me and pushing my armpits down towards the floor. You're going to plant your fingers again, and if you can, you're going to lift your elbows. And if you can, you're going to lift your chin off the ground, keep your chest down. Let your arms relax down, keep your head lifted. we're going to push forwards onto the elbows, that we're in Sphinx. Chest pushing forwards again, chin is still lifted, neck relaxed. Kick your bum. 1 foot at a time, trying to keep the hips on the floor. And then we're going to do both. Good. And then we're going to push up again if we can. Squeeze the bum, point the toes. We're going to move one hand to the middle. We're going to look over that shoulder. If you're comfortable, you're going to reach back and catch the inside of the same side leg. If you're really comfortable, you would reach, catch the opposite leg. Make sure this hip doesn't roll up when you're doing it. Switch. I'm nursing a little bit of an injury, so I'm not going to push it too hard. Good. Then we're going to come back to the middle. You could drop it down to the elbows if you feel like you need to, or stay on the hands if you are happy. You're going to catch the same foot, pull it towards you, tickle those ribs. Keep holding it in. You're going to kick this foot away as hard as you can. Ready? Big deep breath. Kick. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe out, pull it in. Switch. Catch the foot, pull it in. Big deep breath. Kick it away for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe out, pull it in. Can you see Gizmo's little feet on just the edge of the video here? I feel like you can. He's just literally lying like this. I can do it, Mama. With his back leg stretched out straight. Bless him. Okay, so we're gonna go. Tricky bit with stretching on your own for back is the fact that all my favourite back things are partners, as you'll know if you come to classes. But let's just see. So we're gonna grab our resistance band if you have one. If you don't have a resistance band, but you have your dressing gown tie, that's better than nothing. Yeah, I was going to say you could use weights, but I probably wouldn't, okay? So you could use a dressing gown tie here. So we're going to floss the shoulders to start with. So you want to take your hands, everyone's going to be different here. I would say go a bit wider than shoulders, try it at that, and if it's easy, wind a hand in and make it harder, and if it's hard, take it wider, okay? This should be, my arms should stay completely straight. I should be able to keep my ribs fairly tucked in. They shouldn't be flaring up and out. I should be able to keep my arms straight when I come back over as well. It should be an interesting sensation, but not like a stretch, not really difficult. I have dodgy elbows, as I have already pointed out a few times, so I'm telling you to keep your arms straight. If it looks like mine bend, that's just why. It's because I'm locking them. So just keep your arms nice and straight. So feet are about hip width. I'm going to start about this wide on my band. A little bit of tension on it. I'm going to lift it up, keeping the arms straight, floss it backwards like this. Yeah. Any crunching, clicking, grinding, sensations throughout the shoulders are quite normal. Little knots and adhesions in this area sort of can give you like that, what's the word, pestle and mortar effect type thing, where the actual head of your humerus in the socket can or this is what I've been told anyway, can sort of grind, and that's what some of the popping is. So it's okay. If anything's painful, stop, but if it's just that weirdness, it's fine. I'm going to make mine just a tiny bit harder. Ooh. A few more of these. 3, 2, last one. And then I'm going to take my hands a bit narrower. I'm going to find some tension on the band, and I'm going to pulse. 2, 3, so straight arms. 4, shoulder height. 5, 6, 7, 8. Depending how nasty your band is will depend on how much you're burning right now. So if you've got a nice gentle band and you're not really feeling it, keep going a bit longer. If If you are feeling it, you take the hands over, behind, tension, pulse. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ugh. You bring it back in front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Switch. 1, 2, 3. They're both pulling away from each other. 5, 6, 7, 8. To the middle. Find the tension. Hold it. 2, 3, 4. Straight arms. Still at shoulder height. 6, 7. Wider. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Keep holding. 1, 2. Big push up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pull the shoulders back and down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Last one, back in front. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Relax. Who's talking to me? Eating loads of scones. Good shout. I'd rather be eating scones. No, I wouldn't. This is fun, guys. Join me. So, your shoulders should be nice and toasty, hopefully now. So we're going to stretch them out a bit. Can you see the edge of this? You can see this cabinet. Okay, so I'm going to stretch my chest a little bit and stretch my shoulders. This one, I'm going to start with the chest because for me personally, I'm super tight. If I go to the side, you can see the fact that my shoulder rolls forwards. I blame this on the fact that I'm solely built by aerial and most or more so pole than anything else, which is very front. So I think we did this stretch the other day, but we're just going to do it again. So I'm going to lie onto my front. What time am I on? 22. I'm going to take my gizzy, move butt, take my arms out to the side. Whichever hand I'm looking at, I'm going to bend, and then I'm just going to twist and push my foot behind me. If I'm okay, I'm going to lift that arm up. So I'm keeping this shoulder down and my head down. Pinch those shoulder blades together. Make sure the hands are in line. Don't do like this. So if in doubt, take it higher up. And I'm going to go to the other side. So arm is straight, bend the other one. Look towards it, kick the dog. If you're happy, hand up. Switch sides. So this time, the move gizzy, the straight arm, instead of being out in line, is going to go up at a 45-degree angle. So I'm still looking this way. Pushing through those fingertips, so again I can lift, or if you preferred it, you could keep your hand where it is. Use the fingers to push to try and turn you away some more. Swap arm diagonal. And the last one, we take it out and then we bend it at a right angle flat on the floor. Yeah? So I'm going to bend the one that you can't see, lift this one up. I'm really bad at this one. Stuck. Again, I could lift this hand, or I like to creep this one closer towards me and push through it. Maybe this will get better as time goes on. Switch. This side isn't quite as tight. Back into the middle. Cool. Then we're going to go for that stretch we were doing just a second ago. I'm going to use the ones that are exactly the same size actually. So I'm going to get my blocks and I'm going to pop my hands onto them. I'm going to keep my arms straight. They could be up this way, they could be down this way. Yeah. and you might find you don't need blocks at all, see how you go. So I want to think about my hips trying to stack on top of my knees as much as possible. I'm sticking my chin out in front of me and I'm pushing my armpits down, and I'm making sure that my arms aren't flowing out to the sides like this, so I'm trying to hide my armpits from you. And then push, 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 push. At this point, having a partner would have been nice, but never mind. Okay, so I want you to push your chest down to the floor, but at the same time push your hands into the blocks as if you were trying to come back up like this. Ready, push. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then relax. Now I want you to keep the arms pushing down as much as you can, and I want you to try and take that arch out of the pelvis. So we're going to try and tuck it while staying as low as we can, and then relax. Tuck it, relax, tuck it, and relax. Good. Okay, so I'm going to use the roller here, but you could, as I said, use your blocks. So I could put them beside each other like this, and it'll work, or that way, and it should work the same. If they're a bit hard, you could stick a cushion on top. I want to take myself over to either a piece of furniture that you can fit under your fingers underneath, so it would work with the sofa. If you happen to have a person in the room with you right now who isn't doing too much, you could borrow them, and you could literally get them to stand like this, and you use their ankles. Or if you have a pole, you can do it with the pole. So get my roller. So what I want to do is pop the roller behind my shoulders. Oh, my tummy is so sore. Go to that way, and then I'm gonna pop my feet down, lift my hips up so that my low back isn't really involved, and I'm gonna take my hands over underneath the cabinet, and then I'm gonna just sit my hips down and let my arms go out straight. I'm going to think about tucking my ribbon as much as I can. And then I'm going to take a nice big deep breath in. And I'm going to push my fingers up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. I'm more flexible than I expected. Usually I'm not very good at that. 1 minute. Let me investigate how many blocks we're going to need. For somebody like Megan, how many blocks have you got? This is a great one with the chair thing. I just don't have a chair that my arms can go through. 1 minute. I feel like these are just going to fall over now though. How to kill yourself on the internet by accident. I've done a big jump here, haven't I? I'm getting too close. Too close and not flexible enough. Too low. Oh dear guys, this isn't going well. I should have investigated this before I started. Okay, so it definitely works better if I've got more height. So if you didn't feel the first one, find some stuff to use, make yourself taller. If you're using a piece of furniture like this and you have super flexible shoulders, you should be able to pop a chair in and lie back over the chair, I think. But yeah, there was that stretch. If anybody happens to have like an open back chair, a fantastic stretch is you pop your, can't really demo it without an open back. There was a hole here, and you take yourself to like the edge of it, and you put your arms through the hole. I wonder if you can do it there. Ooh, okay, it's not as good because my arms are too wide, but you hold on to the legs, so if you'd gone through, you'd have your arms in a much better position. Where do my legs go? And then from here, I try and sit my hips down. Ooh, I'm just feeling that on the outside there. No. Yeah, I need a chair with a hole in it. This, to me, gets the wrong thing. But yeah, if you happen to have the chair with the hole in and you're super flexible, well, even if you're not super flexible actually, that's a really good shoulder one to work on. Anyway, so next one, we're going to go for, we move down the back a bit and we're going to think about the whole back. I'm just going to use my roller again for a sec because I told you that there's a good way to release, and if you don't do stretch class with me normally, you might not get what I want to actually do with it. So I'm literally just going to have a little roll around. So, this is going so smooth today, guys. So I'm going to go back onto it like this. I'm just going to roll forwards and backwards, seeing if I have any points that are particularly tense. I like to sit my hips down, try and tuck my ribs in, so trying not to arch too much, and then push my hands down. If you had a hand weight, you could pop it here for a little bit extra if you're not super flexible. I'm just working up and down the back. So, if you normally come to stretch class, you will know that my favourite stretch is a partner cobra stretch. So if you happen to have your partner hanging around, oh, mine's just appeared. Oh, he says no, he's not helping. If you had your partner hanging around, you could do this with them, because I still think it's more beneficial. I have been trying to work out a way to do it on my own, at least a little bit. So, the partner one, if you don't remember what it is, the person getting stretched lies on their belly in a cobra, and the partner has their hands like this, and they literally work from here up in tiny little increments the whole way up the back until we get to about bra strap height. So they pop their hands down and push, and the person being stretched pushes up as high as they can, has a nice big deep breath, and then relaxes back down again. So if you have someone around who can help you with this, go ahead and do that. If you don't, so, hello baby! She's peeping at me through the door. So if you don't, you're going to take your strap, you're going to cross it around your waist like this, okay, and then you're going to lie onto it. And that doesn't work as well, so don't get excited, but it does give you some awareness. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab it into each hand and I'm going to push. Yeah, and I feel like I'm pushing my hands forwards, and what it does is it applies pressure into the back so that is the point that I'm thinking about hinging from. Yeah, so I'm trying to bend at the point where the strap is. Then I'm going to let it creep up a tiny bit, and I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm pulling forwards, lifting my shoulders up and around that point. And let it wiggle up a little bit and go again. Wiggle up a little bit more. That one that we just did with the foam roller is also really similar to this. Just the other way around. Not as good again. Hello. Can you hear Bella? She's at the door, peeping through the glass, like, hello. Down. And one other one I like to do, the same thing, but using my own body awareness. So, position the feet however you want. Hands underneath the shoulders. Round one, we're lifting as high as we can. We're pushing the chest forward, squeezing the bum, hips are down. Then I'm going to bring it down, and I'm going to imagine that this bit has to stay on the floor now. So hands a little bit further forward, just pushing to there and trying to lift up as much as I can from that point. Down, up another tiny bit. Hands a little bit further away again. And up a bit more. Hands further again. And when I like to get towards the top, I put my arms out and I just use the muscle to lift it. And then drop the chest down, drop the chin down, thumbs underneath. And then we're going to cobra. So, if you don't normally do stretch classes with me, what's really important when you cobra is you don't just push up straight and hinge in your back. You need to think about being a actual cobra coming up and out of a basket. So I'm going to stick my chin out, push my chest forwards, pinch my shoulders together, push my ribs forwards, push my belly button forwards, think about the boobs trying to point to the ceiling, hip bones are pushed down, bum is squeezed. Up on my fingertips, elbows are tucked in. When I come down, reverse it. So hips, belly button, ribs, chest, chin. Repeat. Chin, shoulders, chest, ribs, belly button, hips are pushing down. Make sure your head is relaxed, nice and tall. So we're not doing this, we're going as long as we can. And then down, hips, belly button, ribs, chest, chin. We can do that one more time. Up. Hi baby. Hello. Back down again. Oh. Do you need a cuddle? Do you want a cuddle? No? You just want my stuff. So, you found a ball! Thank you! So we're going to go on to a little bit of hips and glutes now. When you do your bridge, quite often biggest issue I think is when people have a lazy bum, which most of us have from sitting down all the time. So...
That's Daddy's bum.
Is it yours? What's wrong? You can't separate it. Is it stuck together? Right, so, don't steal my timer either, I need that. So, we're going feet about hip width, lie it onto your back. You're going to tilt the pelvis, squeeze the bum, use your fingers if you need to make sure it's engaged, and then lift, and then back down, and then untuck. Tuck, lift, down, untuck, tuck, lift, down, untuck, tuck, lift, down, untuck. Now we're going to go tuck, lift and hold it. Push your knees a little bit wider into your band. If you didn't have a looped band, you could tie your regular band in a knot nice and tight around the thighs. Keep squeezing here. Squeezing as high as we can with the hips. Tuck the pelvis under a little bit more if you can, so imagine you being punched. A little bit higher. Push the knees into the band a bit more. And release. So from here, we're gonna roll those wrists and the other way. And then repeat, so tuck the pelvis, lift those hips up as high as we can, and we get the Mexican wave with the wrists. And the other way. Circles, keep squeezing, other way, and then we're going to plant the hands like this, elbows tucked in, fingers pointing at the shoulders, and then down. This time we're going to see if we can lift up as high as we can. So if you can't do a full bridge yet, do not worry. Just go as high as you feel like you could. So we go onto a hip bridge, we get the hands in position. If you can, you flip to the top of the head, and I call that a head bridge. And if you're okay going all the way up into full bridge, I have a little bit of an injury in this, so I'll see how it feels, but if I jump back out, that is why I want you to try and hold this for me. The longer we hold it, the more we breathe, the better it gets, okay? Combination of strength and flexibility. So we go tilt, squeeze the hips up, push through the hands, come to the top of the head, and if you're okay, push up through the arms. Hello.
Hello.
So keep breathing. You're going to breathe in and sink towards the feet, and then breathe out and try and open the chest. So we breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Still a little bit angry on the exit. So, what you're thinking about isn't how close your hands and feet are, but more where you feel the stretch. If you feel it mainly in your wrists, it's because your shoulders are a little bit closed. Think about trying to get the legs straight, because that helps us to open the upper body a bit more. Try and keep your heels flat if you can, and feet should be about parallel and about hip width. So if you find that one's really tricky, hello, we're going to try the same thing but using some blocks now to make it a bit easier on the shoulders. Hi. Can I just... No. What do you mean no? Please can you move?
Oh, Mel. Bring that one to Daddy.
No, I need those. Thank you.
Come on.
So pop them against the wall to stop them sliding. Can't see the wall. If I use it, I don't think. Oh, can you see it? No, that's good underneath. Sabotage. We're nearly running out of time, guys. So, use the wall. If you can't do the full bridge, definitely give this a try. So, I find it really confusing, but when you lift the hands, it makes it easier on your shoulders, I think, or it makes it easier on your strength. I can't remember. And if you raise the feet, it makes it easier on the back, but harder on your strength. I think that's right. So the variations I think are really useful. Even if you can't do a bridge, you might find you can do one of the versions, and it's easier to pinpoint what's going wrong. If you are a stretchy person watching this video, send me a message as to what you think raising the hands does, because I'm always confused by it. When I raise my hands and when I raise my feet, what do you think it does for you and your students? Please and thank you. So I would go this way. I have my feet apart. I push into my band, tilt my pelvis, squeeze my bum, lift my hips, and then I'm pushing up. So if you were more flexible, instead of having the hands heat, oh, okay. Injured back's getting angry. I'm not going to do that again. If you wanted to make it more difficult for those of you that are super stretchy, use your blocks against the wall, but instead of holding this part, have your hands here and think about trying to get your chest to lie down the wall and your throat to lie down the wall. Use your legs to push into it. If you can get all the way in, keep your feet a little bit closer, or if you have enough, raise your blocks. Okay, so that the higher your hands are, the more difficult the bend should become. I did mention you can do it with your feet raised as well. I like to do it with my feet quite a lot raised. I'm going to try this one more time, just to see if my dodgy back will allow it. So from here, you'd have your feet lifted up on something. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to tilt the pelvis, we're going to squeeze and we're going to lift the hips, flip my hands over, and then I'm going to push. Oh, it's just when I come out. Ben the chiropractor, if you're watching this, I'm taking it easy as suggested. You should have fixed me by now. Kidding, sort of. Okay, so that's my bridge there, done. If you are more flexible, you're going to have to take, I haven't got enough time, you're going to have to take some measures to make it more difficult. So, some ways to make it more impressive. Think about how close your hands and feet are getting. Ideally, you should still have straight legs, okay? So if you're doing it as a progress photo, give me a straight leg bridge as close as you can get with hands and feet. Fun variations are also the alien bridge, where you sit the hips down, or lifting one leg or the other leg, or instead of lifting the knee to the chest, bending the leg as if you're going to kick yourself in the head. I love all of those. So have a little play. I feel like there's something I've missed, but I can't remember what it is. Give your wrists a little wriggle. So if you do have very sore wrists, it's usually not because it's because of the angle that they're getting put at, basically. The better we get at these and the more open our shoulders are, the more our shoulders and our back should feel the stretch rather than the wrists taking it all. Just got my stretchy band on. I was going to make you do something else and I've forgotten. So very last thing, before we finish, if I have time, if I cut out, I'm doing a cool down. That's where we're up to, guys. So I'm just going to lie onto my back. My battery's dying. So I'm just going to go like this. So the swimming teacher in me says you're doing a mushroom. And I'm just going to squeeze the knees down to the chest. I want you to give yourself 6 million chins on the internet and put your tailbone down. Good, we're going to plant the hands, we're going to do a plough. So I want you to have as flat a back as possible. So we're not going to squash the neck like this. We're staying back here so that my neck is long and relaxed. Soften the knees. I'm going to roll it forwards. Can you see me if I go here? I'm going to have my knees apart. Blinded. I'm just... And then last one, just gonna hurt today. Come here, stretch fingers and toes away. And then we're just gonna lift knees into chest. Lower back flat on the floor, and we're gonna go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. All the fluff that's coming off my leggings, that's your fault, Gizmo. Off my joggers. And then we're gonna go knees into chest. Push them away, knees in, away, up, down, ow, my abs hurt from yesterday, up, 1, 2, both, 1, 2, both, 1, 2, both, fold, forwards. Oh, you won't even be able to see how well I was doing with my straight freaking legs. It wasn't very good, to be fair. Hello, Bella. Fingers crossed, by the end of this isolation, that will be better. That's super fast just because I'm running out of time. So if you feel like you're an old lady, go ahead and do anything, basically folding and rounding forwards to stretch out the back again. Yeah, feel like we could have done a lot more for hips, but I ran out of time. So there you go. Damn 1 hour limit. This is all I ever say when we do stretch classes, is I don't have enough time. Yeah, cool. I think that's it. So make sure you take a picture of your bridge. Tag me in it if you can, please. And it'll be up on, this will be on YouTube later. So if you can't follow along with the paid classes that we're going to be doing, please just keep coming back and repeating this same boring video, because it will help. You will get better, and then when we do get back into the studio, you'll be able to bend further than you could before. Fingers crossed. Awesome. Right, I think that's it. Oh, Jane, you've just appeared, but I'm just leaving you all. See you soon. Tag me in those bridges.